What up, it is FattysFTW here, back with another video, and we're going to be talking about the best 2K archetypes for point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. So, I'm open to suggestions, but these are my personal opinions, so just because I say them does not mean you have to roll with them, but these are my personal opinions. I think these are the best for each position that you can build. So let's get right into it. So first, we're going to start with the point guard. And I had trouble deciding between shot creator and playmaker, but I ultimately decided with the playmaker. And the reason I said this is because playmakers, yes, their mid-range is pretty good. I'm pretty sure. I'm not exactly what it is, sure, maxed out. But the 3-point's not the greatest and maxes out like a 70. But the reason I say playmakers is because if you can't dribble and dish out to your teammate as a center or whatever, then there's no point. If you can't be a good passing point guard, what's the whole point? I mean, you can still get dribbles, I guess, on the, you can use your dribbles. I'm not saying you could get around them, but ultimately the dribbles, and if you have a good shot that you use for a while, you'll make most of them, and you shouldn't be taking contested shots anyway. So that's my personal opinion on that one. Shooting guard, I went with the sharpshooter. And you could say, oh, why didn't you go with sharpshooter on the point guard? And the reason I say sharpshooter is because sharpshooters don't have the best handles. If you're a playmaking like if you're on point, you have a point guard that's a playmaker, you as a shooting guard, sharpshooter, and a center, you'll be pretty good because sharpshooters do not have good handles. I have a friend who has maxed out playmaking for a sharpshooter shooting guard, and his handles are still not good. Sometimes he actually he plays point because we don't have point guard. He's the shortest one. So they do not have good handles. So I would recommend sharpshooter because you could be taller than your point guard, but still be good. Small forward, yet again, I'm going to go with the point forward or the playmaker. Yet again, you know, shots, this 3-point's not going to be the great. Mid-range is pretty good because I actually have one. I play on him. He's a 94, actually. But that's why I went, because you shouldn't be taking many contested threes in general, even if you're a sharpshooter. You shouldn't just be taking contested threes. If you're a sharpshooter, stretch big, I don't care what you are. You shouldn't be taking contested threes because that's not the smartest idea, in my opinion. Or most people's opinions, actually. And so for power forward, I went with stretch big. And I'll talk about why I went with stretch big. Because stretch big, say, why didn't you do a stretch big center? Because I think stretch big centers, I've never personally used one. Well, actually, no, I actually have. But stretch big centers and stretch big power forwards really have the same boarding. You're not as tall, of course, because you can't get 7'3", but your boarding's not gonna be that good. So if you max height out at 7 foot, I mean, I would say you want to be a little smaller, especially if you want to be a really good shooter. So, like, the smaller you are, I'm pretty sure the better, or the smaller wingspan you are. So that's why I went with power forward, because you shorten your wingspan, I heard it makes you a better shooter. So, and then center, of course, I went with glass cleaner. You want to be 7'3", of course. You want to max out your wingspan. I mean, they can hit mid-ranges, but threes, no. But the whole point of having a glass cleaner is you can just snag. Because if you're stretch big center, you're easily going to get outboarded you're just not going to get many boards. So that's why I went power forward, so you could be a little smaller, and I think you can shoot better as a smaller player, as a stretch big. So those are my opinions on what you should use, each archetype for each player. Obviously you can use whatever you want, but that's just my opinion. So it's been your boys, FattysFTW here. Peace.